Hello everyone, and welcome back to our great recipes. Today we're making one of everybody's all-time favorites, apple pie. So let's begin with our ingredients. First, we have granulated sugar, dark brown sugar. Now you can use the light, but I prefer the dark brown. It gives more of a molasses taste. Lemon juice, cinnamon, salt, cornstarch, butter, and apples. Now I'm using Granny Smith apples. That's traditionally what most apple pies call for. You can use any apple you want, or a combination of apples for that matter. The first step, we're going to begin cutting our apples. So I'm just going to take one with a sharp knife, and I'm going to cut it straight down the center, and then cut it into quarters. Next, I'm just going to cut the core out by slicing along the core, just about like that, maybe a bit more. Then I'm going to slice them into about 1/4 inch sections or slices. So they look just about like this. Now we have our apples sliced. We're going to add the lemon juice. Now this is going to stop it from browning. Next we'll add the dark brown sugar, the granulated sugar, the salt, the cinnamon, and I'm just going to use my hands and I'm going to toss this well so everything's nicely combined. Now that everything's nicely combined, we're just going to let these sit at room temperature for about an hour. And this is a process I picked up called macerating. And what this will do, it'll allow the juices or the water to come out of the apple. And we've all made or seen apple pie, that there's a huge gap between the apples and the crust. Allowing them to macerate will take away that gap. So we're going to let these sit at room temperature for about an hour. Now that our apples have sat for about an hour and the juices have extracted kind of nicely, I've got another bowl here that I've just used a strainer, and I'm going to put the apples into the strainer and allow the juices to strain out. And I'm going to leave these like this for about 15 minutes to allow the excess juices to go into the next bowl. And I've let this sit for about 15 minutes, and as you can see I have some nice juices. So I'm just going to add this to a measuring cup, and I'm going to combine my melted butter, and I'm going to slip this in the microwave for about 5 to 8 minutes. And what this will do, it'll make a nice caramel apple sauce. After about 5 or 6 minutes in the microwave, we can see this is caramelized really nicely. Now I'm going to place my apples from the strainer back into the bowl. Next I'll sprinkle my cornstarch over, and I'm just going to give this a toss. Now I'm going to take my caramel applesauce and I'm going to pour it over the apples. Look how delicious that looks. Yum. Now I'm just going to take a spatula and give this a good mix. Now I have a pie shell, and I pre-made this for the recipe on this. You can visit our pie crust recipe on the site, or you can buy one pre-made at a store that looks pretty well exactly like this. But at any rate, now I'm going to add my filling into my pie shell, and I'm just going to use my hands to shape it. Make sure it's full-bodied and pat it down a little bit. I'm just going to set this aside in the fridge while I make the top. Now I have the top rolled out. I'm just going to lay the top over the bottom, and I'm just going to trim off the excess pie crust just going underneath. Now I'm just going to fold the top portion of the pie shell into the bottom portion, just about like this. Fold and tuck. Now I'm just going to gently push down on just around the rim, and just for visual effect, to finish it off, I'm just going to do some pushing down and poking in. Now I'm going to take a sharp knife and I'm going to make some slits, and these are for both decoration and also air vents to allow the air to escape. So it looks just about like this. I'm going to take an egg wash and I'm just going to cover all of the pie, not the crust part, but just the center of the pie. And this is so it browns nicely and evenly. And the egg wash, of course, is just 1 egg and a little bit of milk, about a tablespoon of milk. Now we're ready to put this in the oven. Now we'll slip this into a 425-degree preheated oven. After about 50 minutes, we're going to remove our pie from the oven. This smells incredibly delicious. Now we're going to leave this sit for about 3 hours before cutting.
And after sitting for about 3 hours, here is our apple pie, and believe me, this is absolutely delicious. To find out more about this recipe, visit our website at ourgreatrecipes.com. And as always, have a wonderful day and happy baking.